The year is 1995, the air is thick with pyros, the arenas smell of leather and sweat, and wrestling superstars lands on the newsstands like a time bomb dressed in chrome and neon. The cover screams with the faces of titans, Hogan in his red and yellow empire, Bret Hart's defiant glare, Razor's smirk, and Diesel's championship scowl. And inside these pages, the pulse of mid-1990s, wrestling thunders like a steel chair across the skull of complacency. This isn't tabloid fluff, it's the oxygen of a generation that lived for the mat wars, where grudges were gospel and every turncoat had their sermon to preach. It begins in the mailroom where the fan form hums with raw emotion. Readers pour out letters like love notes to their heroes and hate mail to their villains. One fan praises Diesel's championship run as the dawn of a new WWF, while another swears the company's losing its soul without the old guard of Savage and Perfect. Someone writes from Memphis calling Jerry Lawler the true king of all wrestling. Someone else replies that Ric Flair will outtalk him into oblivion. The editors respond with a mix of diplomacy and fire, reminding everyone that passion is what keeps the business alive. Then comes the superstar grapevine, that sacred gossip mill dripping with scandal and half-truths. The section reads like a hotline for insiders before the internet was king. Hulk Hogan's WCW kingdom is expanding, but the whispers say the locker room is split between loyalty and resentment. Over in the WWF, talk of jealousy between Razor Ramon and Diesel is starting to echo in the halls. In ECW, blood and barbed wire are replacing pyro and pageantry, and wrestling superstars notes it with the tone of a proud, concerned uncle. The sport is changing fast. Can anyone keep up? The superstar quotebook follows, small bursts of ego and emotion captured in ink. Razor's lines are smooth as glass, Bret's are measured and noble, and Shawn Michaels' quotes read like rock lyrics scrawled in a locker room mirror. Vader talks about ending careers, not matches. Lex Luger calls himself the most complete athlete alive. The editors lay them out like scripture, proof that in this era, charisma was currency, and every word could start a war. Then the first headline explodes. Friskum, referees, the article screams, are forgetting their most important job, checking the wrestlers before the bell. The story digs into the chaos caused when managers sneak foreign objects into matches, when tights conceal brass knuckles, and when ringside officials simply don't care. It's written like a manifesto for integrity, demanding that referees reclaim authority before the sport becomes anarchy. Every line is half complaint, half rallying cry, a glimpse into the paranoia that defined wrestling's golden soap opera era. Next up, not one secret date, but three. The headline alone feels like tabloid dynamite. The piece dives into Dave Sullivan's ongoing affair with Diamond Doll, DDP's long-suffering valet and the most dangerous woman in WCW's orbit. The copy practically drips with innuendo, recounting late-night encounters, jealous outbursts, and Sullivan's confused chivalry. And you wondered why Mr. Page was so angry at Bash at the beach, the writer quips. The tone is both gossip column and Greek tragedy, love, betrayal, and body slams under the Florida sun. Turn the page and you hit Double J Double Crossed, a full expose on Jeff Jarrett's meteoric rise and sudden fall from grace. If only he would have stuck to wrestling, the line mocks. The article chronicles how Jarrett's ambitions in the music world sabotaged his ring credibility, how ego and opportunity collided, and how the WWF locker room quietly turned against him. It's both character study and cautionary tale, a portrait of a man too talented for his own good. Then comes a tonal shift. Right place, wrong time. Alex Wright, the German wunderkind, is profiled as WCW's reluctant golden boy, a light heavyweight trapped in a world built for monsters. The magazine paints him as earnest, gifted, but out of place. Even Das Wunderkind himself isn't sure anymore, it admits, describing Wright's dazzling aerials and youthful smile as both his blessing and curse. It's a story of timing, the cruelest opponent in wrestling. The next section is a showstopper, the superstars of today pick the superstars of tomorrow, a parade of giants forecasting the future of the business. Hulk Hogan names the Renegade as his chosen successor, a mirror of power and pride. Scott Steiner bets on Tommy Dreamer, praising his toughness before ECW even hit pay-per-view fame. Jerry Lawler picks Brian Armstrong. Ric Flair chooses Alex Wright. He's got the polish, but he needs the killer instinct. And Sid Vicious nods to a young Hunter Hearst Helmsley, prophesying that this kid's arrogance could make him unstoppable. Tony Anthony backs Bobby Blaze. Luna Vachon endorses Mad Maxine. Razor Ramon picks Dr. Isaac Yankum, and the Nasty Boys shout out the Headbangers while smashing folding chairs in celebration. Owen Hart, always mischievous, picks Skip of the Body Donnas. He reminds me of me, he grins. It's a crystal ball full of names who would soon rewrite wrestling history. Then the war drums start pounding. Southern Civil War. The USW ASMW series is out of control. The tone shifts from fun to frenzy. This isn't fiction. This is chaos. Promoters are bleeding. Referees are being punched. And crowds are crossing from fandom into riot. The feud between the Memphis-based USWA and Smoky Mountain Wrestling is tearing apart the Southern Circuit. No. When referees and matchmakers get bloodied, something's wrong, the article laments. Photos show broken tables, torn shirts, and fists in motion. A forgotten territorial battle that burned hot before the Monday Night Wars began. A few pages later, Wrestling Superstars blurs reality with parody, and Shawn Michaels battles the Nature Boy. Kinda! A playful, tongue-in-cheek feature imagining HBK confronting Flair's legacy through his own arrogance. And the magazine plays with fantasy booking before fantasy booking was a thing. Michaels defeating Ric Flair's ghost, declaring himself the new Nature Boy, and the editors asking, is it blasphemy or evolution? But beneath the laughs, the tension simmers in jealousy cuts deep. Why Diesel's success eats Razor Ramon alive. The feature paints a psychological portrait. Two friends, two careers diverging. Diesel, the company's golden boy, stands atop the mountain as WWF champion. Razor, beloved but frustrated, watches from below. The article speculates about subtle sabotage, quiet resentment, and the inevitable explosion. It might not be long before the bad guy explodes with anger, it warns, and reading it now, you can sense the storm that would reshape the clique forever. Then the master manipulator himself steps into focus. Paulie's secret plot forced the Steiners to wrestle each other. The language turns sinister. Paulie Dangerously, the dastardly manager, is said to be scheming to break the brotherhood of Rick and Scott, manipulating contracts and planting seeds of jealousy. Don't believe everything this man says, the text teases, but don't dismiss what he might do. It's kayfabe with teeth, selling ECW's madness and foreshadowing the real creative genius Heyman would unleash in years to come. The superstar interview with Bret Hart follows, a breath of clarity amid the chaos. Bret speaks like a statesman, calm and deliberate. He talks about carrying the WWF banner with honor, the burden of being a role model, and the pain of watching his sport drift toward circus theatrics. You can't script Hart, he says, the line bolded in print. So it's not just an interview, it's a creed. The magazine shifts gears again for its dream match, The Undertaker versus Big Van Vader. The prose goes dark, gothic, and heavy with atmosphere. The editors imagine thunder, smoke, and apocalypse. When immovable object meets unstoppable monster, it says, the ring might not survive. The description is poetry and destruction. Two titans colliding, one fueled by the supernatural, the other by sheer brutality. The back pages serve up the staples, know your holds, a refresher for purists breaking down submissions and takedowns with anatomical precision. Official wrestling ratings, the holy grail of numbers fans lived and died by, and ratings analysis where the writers dissect every shift like sports analysts. Why is Bret slipping? Why is Vader rising? Why does ECW matter? They answer with data and drama, equal parts, science and scripture. And between those final columns, the ads sing the gospel of the mid-1990s fan economy. Subscription offers for Wrestling Superstars and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Hotline numbers promising breaking news before Nitro hits, glossy mail-in order forms for action figures, foam fingers, and VHS tapes. There's even a full page poster ad for the hottest 100 moves of 1994 video, $29.95 plus shipping. You can almost hear the fax machines and rotary phones humming. The final page fades to black with a whisper of what's next. Next issue on sale, February 14th, 1995. A Valentine's Day date with destiny for anyone still loyal to the printed Ring Wars. This wasn't just a magazine, it was an ecosystem, a galaxy of stories, rivalries, fantasies, and fan voices orbiting around one truth. Professional wrestling in 1995 was a living, breathing opera, and Wrestling Superstars was its sacred text.